Lively Alex Eala, Georgina Camus merch.
Hey, I feel so honored.
The corridors of Nike's global headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon are meant for more than just raw potential. They're a proving ground where only the truly exceptional leave their mark.
The flower in the hair was an idea.
The flower in her hair was actually an idea from Nike.
The flower of the Philippines is called the sampaguita, and kind of the whole idea behind.
The flower in her hair was Nike's idea. But what it meant to 100 million people, that was never Nike's to claim. The hair tie that started everything before we talk about sold-out merchandise, campus visits, and magazine covers. Let us go back to a single moment at Wimbledon 2025. A 20-year-old Filipino tennis player walks onto center court. The crowd is enormous. The stakes are as high as they get in sport. And on her wrist, almost invisible unless you are really looking, is a small white hair tie. Not a logo. Not a brand activation. Just a handcrafted accessory featuring the sampaguita, the national flower of the Philippines, quietly stitched into the biggest stage in all of tennis. No press release went out that morning. No campaign teased it on social media the night before. It was simply there. And if you caught it, really caught what it meant, you are watching the beginning of something the rest of the tennis world would spend the next 8 months scrambling to understand. The campus visit Eala was 20 years old and ranked 29th in the world when Nike invited her to walk through the doors of their campus in Beaverton, Oregon. The word campus undersells it. This is the place where Nike decides the future, where the brand's identity is built, protected, and projected onto the biggest names in global sport. The walls inside are not blank. They are covered in murals of athletes who changed their sports forever. And when Eala arrived in February of 2026, her own face was among them. Her journey, her career, her story printed across those walls as though she had already earned her place in the permanent record. They handed her a pair of custom shoes made specifically for her. Not a sample, not a prototype worn by someone else first. Hers. And she stood beside a display case holding the sampaguita shirt, the one we will get to in a moment. Not for a photo opportunity, but because Nike had built her into the physical fabric of that campus. That does not happen by accident. How it actually built, but that campus visit only makes sense if you understand what came before it. Because Nike did not simply discover Eala in 2026. They had been quietly, deliberately, almost patiently constructing something around her for months. And it started with that hair tie. After Wimbledon, the story did not stop. It evolved. By July of 2025, Nike had commissioned a Manila-based artist named Georgina Camus to design a custom shirt for Eala. Not a generic piece with her name printed across the chest, a real work of art. Camus created what became known as the In Full Bloom shirt, featuring a blooming sampaguita set against a green tennis court graphic. The cultural weight behind that choice was enormous. The sampaguita is not simply a pretty flower. It is a symbol carried by over 100 million people, representing home, identity, and a pride that does not need explaining to those who feel it. Camus described the piece as a symbol of discipline, courage, and full-circle growth, designed to inspire the next generation to bloom in their own time. Nike dropped it exclusively through a Philippine retailer with no global campaign, no international billboards, no celebrity endorsements pushing it across markets. It sold out. Almost immediately. Filipino fans across social media lit up. They started calling Eala Nike's New It Girl. And the striking part is that the demand was entirely organic. The product found its audience without the machine. That tells you everything about the connection Eala already had with people who saw themselves in her before Nike ever handed her a platform. The Vogue Philippines cover Eala wore that shirt for her Vogue Philippines shoot. And while she stood in front of the camera doing what she does, her father stood off to the side watching. When someone caught him on camera, he said something no marketing team could have scripted, nearly speechless, just repeating that it was a dream since she was a child. Watching his daughter smile in clothes she actually loved, standing on a platform the entire country could see. Eala herself has spoken about how much she loves fashion, how looking good makes her feel more confident, how personal style feeds into performance. That shirt was not merchandise to her. It was identity. Her story worn on her chest, printed on a magazine cover, and sent across the Philippines for every young girl who ever picked up a racket to see. The tennis and the commercial story running in parallel, the commercial story and the court story were moving on the same track simultaneously, and that parallel is what makes all of this feel so deliberate. At Indian Wells in early 2026, Eala stepped onto the court against Coco Gauff, one of the biggest names in the sport, a player with Grand Slam titles and a global following, and won the first set 6-2 before Gauff retired in the second. At Miami, she came back from a set down against Laura Siegemund to win, then handled Magda Linette 6-3, 7-6 to reach the round of 16 at back-to-back WTA 1000 events. Her ranking climbed to a career high of 29. The tennis world was paying attention in a way it had not before. And meanwhile, Nike was hanging murals. The timing was not coincidental. The competitive results and the cultural investment were feeding each other, every win making the merchandise more meaningful, every custom piece making the wins feel larger. When reporters at the Miami press conference asked Eala about the Nike partnership and whether a full custom on-court kit might be coming, she did not hesitate. She said she would love it. That answer landed with zero ambiguity. A 20-year-old looking directly at her future and telling the world she is ready for it. What most people missed here is what the traditional tennis establishment got wrong throughout all of this. The conventional voices and institutions that decide who matters in women's tennis were still talking about Eala in the future tense. A player to watch, a prospect on the rise, someone who might be relevant in a few years. Nike apparently looked at the same situation and rejected that framing entirely. While the gatekeepers were hedging, Nike was commissioning art. While the industry was waiting for more results, Nike was building campus murals. The gap between how the tennis world categorized Eala and how the actual market responded grew enormous. Filipino fans were not treating her like a prospect. They were treating her like someone who had already arrived. And the sellout numbers backed them up, without a single dollar of global advertising spend to explain it. There's also something worth understanding about what this represents beyond one player. Southeast Asian tennis markets have historically been overlooked by the sport's power structure. The major commercial conversations have always centered on European players, American players, and the established media ecosystems surrounding them. What just happened with Eala is a proof of concept that those assumptions are wrong. A limited edition shirt drops in the Philippines with no international support, and it sells out. A 20-year-old from Manila gets campus murals at Nike World headquarters. That is not simply a sponsorship. That is a commercial center of gravity shifting in real time. And Nike understood it before anyone else in the sport did. The full picture of this story deserves honesty about its difficult chapters as well. A few days after reaching the round of 16 at Miami, Eala lost to Karolina Machova. The scoreline was not close, 0-6, 2-6. A heavy defeat, coming directly after another round of 16 loss to a Czech player at a different WTA 1000 event. Back-to-back painful exits at the same stage of the draw. In her post-match availability, she did not deflect or manufacture excuses. She spoke about gratitude and about learning honestly where her limits currently are. And the next morning, she was back on the practice court. That detail matters more than the scoreline. Because what Nike is investing in is not a current ranking number. It is the character underneath it. A player who absorbs a difficult loss, speaks honestly about what happened, and returns to work the following morning is exactly the kind of athlete a global brand builds a decade-long relationship around. The defeats do not cancel the significance of what is being built. They are part of it. What comes next? The clay season is coming. Roland Garros is in May. Wimbledon returns in July. The US Open closes the Grand Slam calendar in the summer. Every single one of those tournaments now carries a question that simply did not exist a year ago. What will Eala wear? And how many people across the Philippines and the global Filipino diaspora will want to wear it with her? That question is the commercial engine Nike just built. And they built it by starting with something so small that most cameras almost missed it. A white hair tie on a wrist. A flower that meant something to 100 million people. In Eala's own words, the whole idea was simply to have a piece of home with her on an iconic court. That is where this started. A moment not designed to trend, not engineered for virality. not constructed for content. Just a young woman carrying something real from the place that made her, stepping onto the grandest stage in tennis and letting the flowers speak for itself. 8 months later, her face is on the walls of Nike headquarters. Her shirt sold out without a single global advertisement. Her ranking sits at a career high. And the tennis world is only now beginning to realize that while it was waiting to see who Alexandra Eala would become, Nike already knew.